More than 5,000 school buses hit the road every day in the Palmetto State, taking kids to and from school and activities. And many of the buses they're riding were brand new in the 1980s.
Yeah, that's old. I mean, cars don't last that long.
I think that's probably all right, but I wouldn't go much past 20 years.
The average age of school buses in South Carolina is 16 years old. In Horry County, 313 state-owned buses run routes each day. Nearly 70% of them are more than 15 years old.
The oldest vehicle I have is a 1987, and the newest one we have is, of course, 2015 that we purchased last year.
The average odometer reading for a school bus in South Carolina is 240,157, and those older buses can cause some huge problems.
When you start getting vehicles 20, 25 years of age, just more things happen to us, a little bit more frequent work that we have to do to them.
Horry County Schools Department of Transportation has had more than 500 service calls just this school year. So who's to blame for our state's old buses? We went to Columbia to talk to Dino Tapara, the spokesman for the State Department of Education.
We're the only state that has a state-operated bus fleet, so we're very unique in that way.
In 1958, the state assumed total responsibility for the school bus fleet to ensure a, quote, uniform, systematic, and prompt maintenance program. By 1970, the transition was complete. But in 2015, the state is struggling to keep up with the state's aging fleet. Tapara says the buses are safe, but admits they're gas guzzlers and bad for the environment. Plus,
you have to find parts. It takes time to get them shipped in from across the country. You spend a lot more time and resources maintaining an old bus.
Right now, you're probably questioning the safety of these buses. Tapara says hundreds of school bus mechanics across the state inspect buses every day, and in Horry County, it's after every route. They're checking the tire tread, lug nuts, and these safety lights, all to make sure your children are safe while inside these vehicles.
We never let a bus go out if there's anything wrong with the bus at all.
A law passed by the state legislature back in 2007 requires buses to be replaced once they're 15 years old, but that's not happening. We asked why.
Unfortunately, we have not had the funding necessary to buy new buses because of the economic recession, and that buying new school buses wasn't a priority.
In the past 3 years, about 1,000 new buses have been added to our state's fleet at a cost of about $80,000 apiece. Tapara says in order to get the entire fleet of buses under the age of 15, it would cost $250 million.
So rather than trying to ask for the legislators to come up with that big sum of money, it's really about, can we make sure we set aside a certain amount of funding every year for the next 3 to 5 years to catch up from the recession and keep investing in new buses.
We asked Tapara whether South Carolina would ever join the rest of the nation and give up control of the state school buses.
We'd be open to looking at different suggestions on how to run the state bus fleet, but right now this is the best system we have in place. As long as we have funding for new school buses, this is what's working best for South Carolina.
Right now, the General Assembly is discussing school bus funding for next year. Tapara urges parents to call their state representatives and ask that they make sure there's money for new school buses in next year's budget. In Horry County, Crystal Costa, ABC 15 News.